Hey friend, I hope you're doing well. So after about a week of being out of the studio, I am finally back because this year I was able to attend my very first NAMM. Now, if you don't know what NAMM is, it is an enormous convention out in Anaheim, California, which I actually believe stands for the National Association of Music Merchants. Basically, if you are a music company who makes either software or hardware, you go there and you showcase your products and maybe even show some of the new stuff coming out in the near future. I've always wanted to go, but things never aligned for whatever reason. However, this year I got the opportunity thanks to the family over at PreSonus, and so we made it happen. If you've never been to NAMM, it is the ultimate music nerd heaven. First of all, the Anaheim Convention Center is enormous. More on this in a second. Full of multiple floors of gear catering to literally every niche and sub-niche of music. If you're a musician, then there was an entire floor for you sectioned off into different instrument types like trumpets, French horns, trombones. There was a drum section for both acoustic and electric sets. There was a guitar section, an accessories section, a DJ section, software, and of course, an entire wing for pro audio. No matter what you were into, there was a spot for you. So NAMM for me actually started out on Thursday the 23rd, and that day was a bit of a hot mess if I'm being honest, but mostly because I messed up. It's NAMM day one, but we have a bit of a problem. So I accidentally booked my Airbnb starting today instead of yesterday. So NAMM starts from Thursday, at least the exhibits do, from Thursday to like Saturday or Sunday. I booked my Airbnb starting today, Thursday. It should have been yesterday. When I was booking the Airbnb, in my head at that time, it made sense to book it from Thursday, which is when the event actually started, to Sunday, and so that's what I did. However, what I did not consider is that most places, hotels, Airbnbs, the check-in is not till 4 p.m. I actually flew in a few days early to meet up with a friend out in LA, and so I didn't want to go directly from Los Angeles to the event because personally, I always like a little bit of time just to unwind and prep. So what I ultimately ended up doing last minute was booking another Airbnb for Wednesday night. That way I could settle in, properly prepare, wake up, and go. The issue though is that meant that I still had to take my luggage with me to the convention center on the first day until I could check into the second Airbnb in the afternoon. That honestly wasn't really the problem because they actually had a dedicated luggage check-in area, which was quite nice. The problem came a little bit later, but we'll get back to that in a second. But okay, the first day. Honestly, the first day was just a lot if you've never been. Not only is there a lot of music merchants out there, but just people in general, and it can be a bit overwhelming. I was under the impression that you could only attend NAMM if you were invited, and maybe that was the case before, I don't know. But from what I can tell, anyone can go as long as you purchase a badge. My first day started out just aimlessly wandering because I had no clue what was what. As mentioned, the convention center is enormous, and so I started out near the instrument wing and just walked around. I did get to see some really cool stuff that day though, including a new keyboard by Rolly that is launching soon. The keyboard is aimed at helping you learn how to play, but it also pairs with this stand that takes your hand gestures and turns them into performance expressions. After walking around some more and getting lost more times than I care to admit, I finally found my way to the pro audio section where I met up with the PreSonus team. There I got to reconnect with some of the people on the team, including Joe Gilder, which I had actually met here in Tampa back in like 2016, Hasib and Dustin, whom I had met in the NYC Studio 17 launch event, and even met a few others for the first time, including Gregor, Nate Notes, and R&B Justice. Despite the initial overwhelm, it was an incredible first day, so much so that I ended up losing track of time because at around 6:15, I get a text from the luggage people telling me that the event closed at 6, so I was already late, and that they could only hold my luggage for a few more minutes. It was at this moment that I looked up from whatever I was doing, and I started to see people walk out, and I started to panic. I immediately took off to where the exit was in hopes of getting to my luggage on time before they closed everything down, but again, the convention center is enormous, and it was my first day, so I had no idea how to get back to where I started in the morning. I asked a few employees for directions, but for whatever reason, the ones that I asked didn't seem to know either, so maybe it was also their first day. At some point, I do see the main hall that I came in from, and so I go in, but at this point, like 15 minutes had passed, and so the workers tell me that there is no way that I'm going in because that hall was closed. More panic. The funny part is that all I really had to do was go out to the main lobby and then head all the way down, and I would have been good, but again, it was my first day. Eventually, I do end up getting to the luggage hall, and I thought we were in the clear, but no. The worker at the door tells me that at this point, everything is 100% shut down, and there was no way that I can get back in. The luggage that I left there that morning had literally everything that I came with. That day, I really only had like a backpack which had my laptop and headphones, and so I was determined to get my luggage back. After a bit of buttering up the people there, I managed to convince them to let me in, and at long last, I arrived to pick up my luggage. I wish I had footage of this situation, but as you can probably imagine, recording was the least of my concerns at that time. And that was day 1. Day 2 was so much smoother because not only did I leave all my stuff at home, but I now had a vague idea of where things were. More importantly though, this day was the day that I got to meet a lot of music people, including some of my heroes. This day I spent most of it at the Akai Lounge, which was an absolute party. When I pulled up, Sarah the instrumentalist was doing her set, which was then followed by the homie Jan Hunter, who absolutely killed it on the MPC keys. The whole lounge was so turned up that after Jan's set, it actually ended up turning into a whole talent show.
So we got anyone who wants to drop some bars on this?
Here, check it.
We do it live on the 37 key. I meant to say NPC3. How I do it, my name is 3. If you break it down in Hebrew, this is me.
The cool thing is that the lounge was not only full of performances, but also full-blown panels, including one with Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox. I don't know about you, but I came up learning production from some people like Jermaine Dupri, Scott Storch, Timbaland, and the Neptune, so this to me was super special, and especially because I got to be in the front row. There's also a panel with the one and only Roger Lynn, the creator of the MPC, which unfortunately I did not get to grab footage of. And to top it all off, in between sets and panels, you also had DJ Battlecat keeping the vibes alive. This day to me was honestly truly special. My last day at NAMM was Saturday, and this day was more creator focused. The cool thing about NAMM is that not only is it a place for merchants, but also music professionals and creators, so there are plenty of people to hang out with and connect. I ended up meeting up again with the homie Nate Notes, and from there we ended up having lunch with Mike from Creative Sauce, Sanjay C and his wife Darty, Tatro, Hero, and B Martin from the Mindful Music Mentor. All incredible human beings that I feel super privileged to have shared a meal with. The highlight of that day though was when we all got back to the show and we wanted to take a picture. We get in front of the NAMM statue thing and start to look for someone to take it for us. At this moment, B grabs his phone and taps the nearest guy and goes, "Hey, can you take a picture for us?" We all look up to see who he was talking to, and it was none other than Zach Good, the lead singer of Smash Mouth. Obviously, everyone starts to crack up and the picture was taken, but it was a super hilarious and memorable moment. I finished off the show by heading up to the engineer's booth and was able to catch the last panel with the legendary Terrace Martin, mixed by Ali, Young Guru, and Noise, which was moderated by the homie Devon Terrell. Incredible conversations with some of the most talented people in the game. As I start to walk out to leave, I notice that there's one more panel happening off to the side, like in a walkway, and so I pull up to find out that it was none other than the legend himself, Just Blaze. See, this is the kind of event that NAMM is. No matter where you go, there is always something happening and it is beautiful. The very last thing that I did before calling it a day was hang out with the homie Skylar the engineer over some delicious Thai food. Skylar is actually an insanely skilled and talented engineer who mixed Shabuzi's bar song in Dolby among many others, so expect some content with him soon. The next day I caught a flight early in the morning and now we're right back in the studio. All in all, I had an incredible time at NAMM and I am forever grateful for the experience. Don't get me wrong, the gear was cool, but to me, the best part was the people. Reconnecting, meeting some for the first time, and just sharing moments with these incredible souls. Once again, thank you to PreSonus for the invite. I am incredibly inspired after this trip to just get back in the studio and start creating, so expect some more stuff coming soon. Speaking of production, if you are a producer who's been feeling a little stuck, then what I've done is I've left a free training for you down below in the description where I basically walk you through my personal production framework. Again, it is a free workshop, so all you have to do is click the first link down below. Thank you for hanging out with me today, friend. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, but I will see you on the next one.